Yes, people. I'm blacklisted.
I'm Rain. Mills UB.
Are you just Rain?
Yeah, oh man.
Come on, man. You know the drill.
Rain _ Nelson _ 445.
Thank you. Gosh.
I think you should come up with like a kind of
A 445.
gang sign thing.
We're here today to talk about Air Max Plus Part 2. Thank you.
So this is almost like that Tinker Hatfield thing, you know, when he did the Air Max 1, where it was, and I don't believe this story is true, but you know when he did the Air Max 1, but then they did the Air Max 0, so it's almost like the retrospective of the, oh, is it that?
Yeah, but we know that MX Zero was a big pile of steaming shit.
I liked him. I liked the Air Max 0. I liked it. And the first one, I liked it, and I've got them, and I still wear them now. But so basically, what we're saying is this was supposed to be the original or the first colorway in the Air Max Plus
110.
TN.
series. So everyone thought it was the Hyper Blue or whatever you want to call it, but it was supposed to be this color and they changed it. Does anyone know why they swapped it around?
I don't know, but I've got another anecdote. Do you know the name of this shoe before it got its name? Apparently it was supposed to be called Sky Air, and that was basically to reflect the designer's inspiration for the shoes, where he was in, I think it was Florida or wherever, and he saw the sky, I think it's either sunrise or sunsetting, and he loved the hue of colour, and he basically incorporated it into the shoe.
Extra points if you can remember his name.
Sean Merck, I say Dow, some will say Dewell, but hey.
Sean McDowell.
Come on now! Pub quiz champ, undefeated.
Wait. Hold on. McDowell's. Coming to America.
Yeah, with the golden arcs, not arches.
So, impressions of it initially, and I'm talking about in comparison to the OG Hyper Blues, which came out first.
But for me, the memory of the Hyper Blue will always sit ingrained in my head from when I can't remember how old I was. I was in secondary school and some dude walked past and I remember me and my boy ran up to him like, yo, where did you buy this? He's like, I bought them in Foot Locker in South London. We was like, fuck. Because we didn't go down to South London.
For what? Oh, where are you from?
North, originally North. I live in South now, but originally North now.
I'm with Emil. The Hyper Blue, obviously, me and my friends saw. I think we saw that was it. Sorry. So there was a trade magazine, or there was a Japanese or Chinese trade magazine that came out every so often, and you was able to get a copy of it, or someone had a copy, and it had a pair. It had this colorway, and then it had the Hyper Blue, and I thought, okay, I like these. But then the Hyper Blue came out, and then this disappeared. And then now, for me, these are coming out. It's almost like a dream come true to an extent, because I might just shelve the Hyper Blues and then just get these when they come out and what out of those.
They're alright shoes. They're nice shoes. Yes, there is a but. And there's always a but with me. Not that kind of but, but yeah, anyway. This is going somewhere else.
Hey, you're lucky you got in there before.
I'm just like, his mind was going. He was like,
but there is a but, and I still persist with the fact that this shoe should be left back in '98. I understand that it's an unreleased pair, and I get it that.
Do you say that every time the MX1 releases?
right.
No, because Air Max 1 is a legendary shoe. The shoe is manifested into what it is. It's a cult. People love that shoe.
Do you say that about the MX90?
Or 95.
Or 97?
Not about the 95s anymore, no.
But why does this not have the potential to reach those heights?
I just don't believe the shoe has aged well. However, I respect what the shoe has done in the underground scene in London in terms of the people that wore the shoe, how it basically set the scene in terms of the garage, the whole raving scene. There are particular types of people that will wear this shoe. Like you said, you've got a particular memory of Air Max Plus. I too have a particular memory of this shoe. Well, not this particular shoe, but the silhouette in itself. In that, for me, for someone to wear this shoe, you had to be someone of stature in the streets. He wish he was.
Can I just say, I love the way you say silhouette.
Why?
Say it again.
No.
Say it again.
No.
Say it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. Anyway, so for me, particularly, do you know what?
You know what it is? I had that Family Guy moment when Stewie says, what's the word? Shoot. Brian and him having a conversation, and he keeps saying the word, and he says it differently, and Brian says, no, you can't say that. I can't remember what the word is, but it'll come to me. Don't worry. Go.
That's not how you say ruined. What? Ruined?
Anyway, I just feel like this shoe is fit for those that wore it back then.
Well, okay, so why can't it fit in now? Because people now are wearing outlandish colours. They are wearing dad shoes, so to speak. Old school silhouettes from different companies are coming out, and they are a success. This is iconic. The varying, okay, this is an OG colorway, but the varying colours that have come out after it, they're doing well, and they fit the kind of current time. So what's the issue?
Do you know what? I'm going to borrow that word, elitist. Do you know why? Because this model will only speak to a select group, and that's the OGs, who, if you want to call them elitist, then you are by bringing out this shoe.
But why does it only go to them? Why,
because they're the only group of people that will understand this shoe and what it means.
But there's nothing to say that can't be reinvented. Look, I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, we've gone through the phase where everything was like, oh yeah, I love the 80s. I was never there, but anything 80s inspired. Oh, I'm all about it. Now we're at the point where everything is about 90s inspirations, and you get a lot of people who like fucking. How do you say it? Alessi? They're back. Like, where the fuck did they go? But they're back. And obviously these are from 98?
Yeah.
Well, they would have been from 98 if they were released back then. So, if everything comes in cycles, why could this not come back for the newer generation, like the Hyper Blue was brought back for?
Because they're not the ones that are going to pick up the shoe.
But they are picking up the shoe.
Are they?
Yeah.
Where are the stats to back it?
I don't need to give you stats. All I can tell you is that you see people on the streets wearing them, and they're definitely not as old as me.
Yeah.
This shoe, so the OG purple, the Hyper Blue was brought back as a nod to 1998, to the 90s.
A homage.
A homage, if you're going to pronounce it, it's a French word, and if you're going to pronounce it properly, it's homage.
Oh, check you out. As you were.
As I was bossing it. So the Hyper Blue was brought back for the younger generation. It wasn't made for us. We've already had it. That was for new guys. You think the new generation now, they're going to be the Nike's target consumer for the next 15 years until the next generation comes. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just for Nike, it's going to be for every brand. This, I can't remember what they call it on the website, but this got positioned as the OG purple. They brought this back for the OGs, like, can we call ourselves OGs? I don't know, if you call yourself an OG, that instantly makes you a cunt, doesn't it?
Well,
Yeah, well, it's elitist.
it's elitist.
It is elitist.
Which is why I said this shoe speaks to that group.
Alright, well, this was brought back for the older generation who remember Air Max Plus, TN 110, and who might remember that this colour was meant to be released, but didn't get released.
Okay.
So they didn't forget about us, they just did it very quietly.
Even so, like if you go back to the Hyper Blues, they've re-retro. What is it, 6 or 7 times? They've come out a fair few times.
Fair few times, yeah.
So there is a market for them that they are selling. I don't recall, and don't quote me on this, I don't recall them see them going into many sell racks. Maybe Foot Locker because they had them exclusively or whatever. But there is a demand for them. it'll be interesting to see how these go, and it'll be interesting to see if the story that is sold to the people around them, if they buy into that. Like, this was the unreleased pair. Remember, anything which is unreleased, people kind of pay attention. Right, okay, so does that mean that it's going to be exclusive, or does it mean X, Y, Z? I'm not sure, are these exclusive to Nike, or are they coming out in other retailers?
I think they're going out to loads of retailers. I'm pretty certain Nike's getting them, Offspring, I'm pretty certain they're getting them, Foot Locker should be getting them as well. The thing is, for all of the press and promo stuff I've seen, nothing has really spoke about the OG story.
There you go.
There you go. Other than the fact it's just an unreleased pair, which is now seen the light of day.
Or maybe it's just quartile marketing, so the first part is getting the images out there, post a little story, then the unreleased bit, and then everyone should have them. Maybe, who knows?
Who knows?
And I coined that phrase, quartile marketing, I just made it up.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
Trademark.
I did. Right there.
We can't say where we are though. But
Yeah.
But the shoebox is delicious. The wrapping,
the shoebox is
it is delicious. If they put a bit of effort into it, yes. I had my reservations last time, but you cannot knock Nike for effort in terms of packaging and presentation.
I'm just trying to get over the fact that you call the shoebox delicious.
It is delicious.
It is different. I'm not going to touch the paper, because the last time I touched the paper...
He wants to have your head.
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to...
And then as you go, you've got the anniversary Air Max Plus detail inside the actual box, which would be, it'd be interesting. They could have actually, in this right up here, had something about the unreleased pair.
Yeah.
That would have been quite cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, they put effort. Like the TN this time around, they put effort into. But I would have liked to have seen another pair of laces. And the pair that released, or the Hyper Blues that released last time round, came with yellow tip laces. I think this should have had something, or something like it's
what these got? Oh, just
normal
standard black.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. There's
But yeah.
where the fuck are my arch supports? Well, to be fair, you know what? I put the arch supports into the orange ones, and they did nothing. They're so thin.
Oh,
They're,
right.
yeah, they're a mere shell of what they used to
So
be.
it's gimmicky.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they were just proper?
You put them in and you'd be like,
Maybe what do you call it? Brexit EU regulation.
fucking bro.
So let me ask this question. So we've had 3 TNs, 2 OGs, and now this.
Have we got a pair of the other OGs?
Which ones? Oh. these ones.
Yeah.
So those are the wait, hold on, I got because the arch supports in them are shit, so I had to put my own orthotics in. Sorry, carry on.
Okay. Yeah. So those were one of the pairs that I've released. So this is, what were they actually called? The Tiger Orange, or I called them Tiger Orange. I don't think that's the actual name.
Pass.
I can't remember.
I can't remember where. But anyway, so these, and then the Hyper Blues.
Hyper
So
Blues.
that is the trilogy.
So which one? If you had to rank them, if we're ranking them.
3, 2, Hyper Blue.
Really? One? Really?
Oh no, sorry. The other way around. This would be number 1.
How did you
It's
actually
been a long
process
day.
it?
It has been a long
How did you
day.
process it? Anyway, but yeah, me it would be this Hyper Blue and then Tiger Orange. I don't know if they call Tiger Orange. That's what I'm calling it.
That's what he called them when I was on the phone to him the other day.
Oh, Tiger.
Tiger Orange. Oh, that's my fault. Okay, yeah. Tiger Orange first, Hyper Blues last, then these.
This is first.
Yeah.
So you.
I
After
will-
all
I-
you said, you would wear.
I actually would. I mean, look at the colouring. It's vivid. Yeah, it's vivid. This looks washed out.
Do you know what's nice though? Put them both next to each other and they contrast each other
Oh,
very
don't
nicely.
be that guy though.
I'm not going to be in the pad.
Oh, dear.
Stevie, what do you think?
Purple, the unreleased pair. Yeah. And the orange is bright ceramic resin pimento.
Okay.
Okay.
Our research on your background. Stand Yeah. Okay. Cool. But yeah, I like them. I'm really happy to see. I don't really care about those. I'm really happy to see those. One that I will definitely be purchasing.
Despite me and my reservations, in a weird way, I'm glad that Nike have dug into the archives again to show us what they do have in the unreleased pair. Unlike you, I will not be picking up a pair, but hey, that's just me.
Keep your money.
That's right. I will keep my money. I will keep my money, and I'll spend it on something else worthwhile.
What will that be?
A pair of fogs.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's another thing as well. To coincide with the relaunch of the Air Max Plus,
It's great.
Nike partnered with Alex Hackett to produce a whole bunch of.
Is that mini swoosh?
It is mini swoosh.
Ah.
Oh yeah, that's yours by the way. No pressure.
Wow.
Yeah, who
Thanks.
Nike partnered with Studio Elk to do the Air Max Plus inspired jerseys for the Foot Locker style.
So are these for? Oh, I was gonna say because they're not for retail. You can't buy them.
You can't buy them.
Oi.
Open it up. Let's have a look. Let's see what you think. So they've done one for every colour, I think, as well. So there's even the greedy one. I saw a video of Slow Tie wearing the greedy one. That actually looks sick. It looks better than the actual shoe.
Really?
Yeah, that's alright.
Do you know what we should do? We should put them
Referee's a bastard.
Yeah, we should put them on
It's
and see
alright.
and go into a Foot Locker store, maybe one in Oxford Street, and see how far we can get down into the stock.
Hey, that's actually
Just
an
walk
idea.
around, put a name badge on, just have a walk around.
That's actually an idea. Yeah, I like it. It's alright.
It is cool. It's a nice compliment. It's
Yeah.
a pity that they're not sold. I reckon if they did them in limited quantities, there could have been a market for them. But hey, not everything needs to be sold, innit? It's to push the actual training.
It's
So
nice. Would you be on it though?
what's that?
Trying
I
to
would.
see how far we can
I
get.
would
Just-
blatantly
yeah.
infiltrate.
Or just
Foot
walk in,
Locker.
just walk in and
House of Hoops.
just say that we are the area manager for the Spain division, and just walk around. Or Philippines.
Yeah. Hola.
¿Cómo está?
That would be hilarious. But
Mi amo es Pedro.
Donde vive el MX Plus?
Yeah, so that's your lot. I've been blacklisted.
I've been rained.
You never say your full Insta handle.
Well, you got to keep it moving, innit? Keep it different.
Fair enough. Well, he's. And you've been.
I have been and still am.
We're the panel. Please check us out on @thepanel.online on our Insta. Check us out on our YouTube as well. Subscribe, like, follow, all of that jazz. Hashtag us in your images, in Instagram, blah 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 blah, and you may get a follow.
You may get a follow, not even a repost.
Oh my god, I could never do it.
You always fuck it up.